Hi again. It's been a while, hasn't it, since I've last put a video on YouTube. So I thought it about time that I put another video on just to let you see where I'm at the moment, which is not really much further since the last video I put on, as you can see. Um, I haven't been able to be bothered to do anything with the layout lately, for a good while now. In fact, when I've been getting in from work, I just haven't been able to be bothered to, to just come up and do anything worthwhile. I've been coming up in the loft, but I've just sort of been just sitting looking at it. I just couldn't seem to get motivated into doing anything. But I'm feeling a bit better about things now anyway. I've been doing a few odds and ends. As I say, the colliery largely is unchanged. There's very little been done with that. I can't remember what I showed you on the last video. I've been placing some of the colliery buildings here, there and everywhere, as you can see, and I'm not 100% sure whether I'm going to leave that amount of buildings in the colliery area, or indeed if there was, if there was ever that many buildings at a colliery, to be honest with you. There seems quite a lot there, and they seem pretty cramped together, which I think spoils the effect of things a little bit. I've still got quite a lot of work to do at the colliery, as you can see. The baseboards, I've got absolutely no cover on them at all apart from the paint. They need the the various textures and scatters on them. What I want to try and do is, where I've got these couple of bags of Scotchlocks, I want to try and put some sort of a spoil heap here, which I'll try and do get that done at some point. And I need to work out sort of like an office car park type area sort of thing round about here somewhere. I'm not too sure about that either. I'll have to get the pencil and paper out and have a bit draw and see what I can come up with. I don't know if I showed you these tracks here. These is the tracks that's going to be for the Colliery Logos engine sheds, which is going to be up there, and possibly a repair line for internal wagons. Wagons being repaired and what have you. And obviously fuel and coal point for the logos as well. This section here, where you can see there's no track connected there, I'm going to put a piece of straight track in there, and this is going to be for a colliery land sale type of affair. You can see I've got the wooden states there. Those is the Ann Corton wooden states, and they're really very nice. It would be a shame to paint them, but obviously having coal in them, they wouldn't stay that colour very long when they were new. The little hut, the land sale hut as well, I think that's I'm not sure if that's a Wills or a Ratio kit, but as with all the other buildings, really they need painting up and weathering more. The Colliery Scenecraft buildings, the Backman Scenecraft buildings rather, they weathered to a certain extent when I bought them, but I think they need a lot more done to them yet. They need to look a lot more dirty. The head frame there, I still haven't put the cables on the sheaves yet. The winding house there at the bottom, you can see with the holes in the walls there. I still need to put the cables on, paint them and put them on, which I'll get done as well. But they're more fiddly jobs than anything else. You tend to get bits breaking off and stuff like that if you're not careful. The colliery screens, one thing I have done with those is I've fitted some lights inside of those. I bought a roll of the LED strips, which I've put some LEDs in there. I think they were the warm white LEDs that I fitted in there. Unfortunately, I can't show you those working at the moment, as they're not properly wired up yet. The 3 exchange sidings here that you can see, which is for fulls and empties, for the BR logo, they're wired up now. They're live. They're wired up to the DCC bus. These is the only 3 tracks that are wired up. The remainder of the track work isn't at the moment, which I still need to do. Although having said that, the droppers is already soldered in place, ready for connection to the bus wires. As I say, I just need to get the Scotchlocks out and just connect them up. Incidentally, a lot of people complain about these Scotchlocks, and I mean, I've used them all the time on my layout, and I think they're great. I think they're a great time saver. There's no bearing of wires to do or anything with them, just a case of just crimping the blade to cut through the wire, and then just snapping the little cover over the top there that you can see, and that's it. You just sort of fit them and forget them. And as I say, I haven't had any trouble with them at all. I think they're absolutely great time saving thing. They're not too bad to buy actually. They get them. You can get a good few on eBay for just a few quid or something like that. So they're really worth the money. If you're like me and don't like soldering underneath baseboards or soldering upside down, they're the ideal thing to get. Some of the other stuff I've been getting a few odds and ends of woodland scenic stuff. I've got two bottles, two shakers of turf there. That's blended turf and coarse turf. And there's two different colours of ballast. There's one ballast grey blend, and there's grey. And I've got some like flower and foliage stuff, and there's other stuff as well. And I've got a few bags of coal, the mine run coal and the lump coal. To use at the colliery as well, and probably to make loads for the hopper wagons there as well. I still need quite a few more of those hopper wagons. If I try to run the layout with just the hopper wagons that I've got, there's a few under the screens as well, which you can see there. But with those and the ones that's standing there just wouldn't be enough wagons. There would be too many bare sidings on the layout, if you know what I mean. So I need quite a few of those Parkside hopper wagons yet. And that's another thing as well. That's where a lot of the time goes, building these sorts of things up when you could be doing other things. If I've got if I end up with a few hopper wagons, I tend to sort of go at them until they're all built up and everything else gets left. So what I might do is I might start and maybe just build one a week or something like that, and then concentrate on other stuff as well. And to try and sort of have the whole layout coming on at a reasonable sort of pace. Just trying to think of other things that I need to show you. The colliery tracks, I don't think I had the point work in the last time that on the last video that I did. These is now the point work's in place. Point motors is fitted underneath. They're just awaiting the power supply. They're not connected yet, but they have been tested to make sure that they're throwing the point in each direction enough, to make the electrical contact. What I've been doing as well is these is medium radius points, which are insel frog points, Pico insel frog points. I've left them at insel frog points simply because the only logos that's going to go over these points is going to be the class 37s coming in and out of the colliery. Which is, I thought, well, I've got them, I may as well use them up, because the class 37s will not have any problem at all with insel frog points, whether they be Pico or the Hornby ones. But as I say, I use all Pico track anyway. So the point work that's in the colliery, they're all electro frog points. I haven't got them wired up for frog switching yet. I'm going to see how I go with those to see if I start and have any problems. A lot of people say you start and have problems with the with the blades not making contact, the switch rails not making contact with the stock rails and that. So I'll wait and see what happens with that. What I have done is I've started buying a load of micro switches to fit onto the which will contact on the point motors for the frog switching. And I don't know if you'll be able to make this out. I can't even see it myself, to be honest with you. It's the very small wire that goes through the I'm just trying to find it. I can't even find it now, but you know the wire that I mean anyway. It's like a very fine wire which comes off the frog. They're all the electro frog points has got them drilled through, and they're through the baseboard now, ready for connecting up to the micro switch should the need arise. As I say, I'm going to try and get away without the micro switches for as long as I can, and then if I start and have trouble with the points, I'll start and connect them up. What I've got is I've got a couple of logos. I don't know if I've showed you these before. I got a J94 a while ago. I was lucky to find this on eBay because they're a little bit like hen's teeth, these ones, the green ones. So luckily I got that. What I intend to do with that is I intend to put a sound decoder in there and speaker. Again, when I get around to it, the same as what I'm going to do with the class 14. Well, the class 14's already got a decoder in. I can run that on DCC, but there isn't any sound for that one. I had a decoder going spare, Zimo decoder, so I hardwired that in. So I still need to get a speaker for that. As I say, the decoder has the sounds on it, but there's no speaker in the logo. The other thing, one other thing that I've done at the colliery end as well, if you remember on one of the other videos I was showing you the ExpressNet connectors there. Well, I had three. That was the first one that I connected. I've got the other one done there now. You can see it down there. That's connected up. So they're both working together now. I've actually got a third one which is up the top end here, which I'll let you have a look at. It's just lying on the baseboard. I'm keeping this one wherever it is. I don't know where it is. There it is there. Yeah, I'm keeping this one. This one's going to be for like the maintenance depot area, the BR depot. That'll be used for connecting up the lens controller there for the you know, to control the trains in the depot. The tracks here, I don't think this point work was in at the time when I done my last video, and I don't think these two outer running lines was complete either, but they are now. They're completed all the way around the loft, right the way down the bottom and then back up the other side. They're all sorted out now and connected. They've been tested, they're working fine. The points is fine as well. They've all got the point motors fitted. This one hasn't got a point motor fitted yet. I've got a little bit of a problem with this one, with it being so close to this point here. It's going to be difficult to have the 2 point motors in, so I need to sort of rig something up. I've got a couple of ideas in my mind what might work for to get the a point motor fitted on that one. I've got a similar sort of problem in the Colliery area as well. There's 2 points very close together where 2 point motors side by side would be impossible to fit. There just simply wouldn't be the room. But yeah, as I say, the point work's all in now. This one here, this is going to be the departure line from the lower reception sidings, where the empty coal wagons will come from the States into the lower reception sidings, and they'll leave the whole complex by this line here. Obviously the full wagons will come in on this line here, and come down onto here where this point is here. This point will come around here, and then it'll branch into 2, and then it'll go down there where the States area is going to be, and where the footbridge was. That was not a footbridge, that was a road bridge. Used to go over. Well, the bridge is still there actually. Used to go over the tracks where the depot was. I've sort of partly got a bridge built there. I'll just try and zoom in a little bit. I've got a crane on it at the moment. There's a bridge partly built there. Whether that'll be suitable enough, suitable or not, I'm not 100% sure. I'll have to wait until I get the trackwork laid out here to say exactly where the bridge is going to go and what sort of, if it's going to have the right span, because it spanned 3 tracks at West Blyth. There was the two tracks that came in that went to the upper reception yard and then onto the States, and then there was the track that went to the lower reception yard. But as I say, the bridge spanned all 3 of those, so I'll have to just wait and see when the track work's put in place to see what it's going to be like. May need to maybe take the bridge apart and extend it so it's longer. I don't know. Height wise it should be okay, but I think maybe the length of it might not be right, so I'll have to wait and see what happens. Some of the other things that I've been busy with, I needed a couple of offices that was at West Blyth. I'm just getting down on my hands and knees here. There was this particular one here. If anybody who's familiar with the West Blyth area, will know about this office here. This one was in the lower reception yard at West Blyth, adjacent to the sidings where the empty wagons came off the States. I actually had an uncle who worked in these offices. He's an examiner, or he was an examiner. He's retired now. He worked there for, I think he worked for British Rail for about 30 odd years or something like that. He was an examiner over there anyway, and he was based in these offices. It was pretty straightforward to build. The windows that's in, I think they're ratio windows, and I think I'm not sure if the guttering and the downcomers are, I can't remember whether they're ratio or Wills now, to be honest with you. I'm not sure what the chimney pots are either, to be honest with you. So that's that anyway. It's not a bad representation of it. It's pretty accurate. The thing that I always remember when I was younger going over to the railway depot was this blackboard thing here, and I never knew what that was used for. When my uncle used to get his rides on the Class 8 shunter that used to propel the wagons up onto the States, and I have no idea what that was used for. I never seen anything written on it or anything. But I thought, well, I'll have to put it on because it was on the office that was at West Blyth anyway. The other one that I wanted to try and get done was which was I think it incorporated the Tops office at West Blyth. It was like an admin block and the Tops office. Now this one that I've made this one scratch built this one. It's a different shape to the one that was at West Blyth, simply because I just didn't have the amount of space on the baseboards here to have the offices the size and shape that I would have liked to have had them. If I had a bit more width wise, it would have been a lot better, but I couldn't do anything about it anyway, so I just sort of had to try and, you know, just try and make as good a representation of it as possible. The office itself, it's just made of perspex, and I've overlaid it with Slater's 2mm plasticard, which is the planked plasticard that you can see on the side. I don't know if you can make the planking out on it. It would be a little bit difficult with a camera, but it is there anyway. And evergreen microstrip for the window frames, and other bits and pieces. The weatherboarding around the side of the roof there that you can see there, that's all evergreen stuff as well. The roof, incidentally, is I put like a piece of wet and dry, car body wet and dry on the roof to simulate like a pitched or a felted roof. Which looks quite good. It's come out okay once it was airbrushed black. Obviously the buildings, you know, both these offices, they need weathering yet, and obviously the baseboards need sorting out for the you know, the various textures, you know, obviously the ballast for the tracks and the road, and the markings for the car park spaces and what have you, all need doing as well, which I'll get around to. The rectangular tank there, I was going to try and make one of them, because I was one of them very close to the Tops office at West Blyth. It was painted a slightly different colour. That one's a weathered one. I think I got that from, I think it was Unit Models that I got that one from. It came ready made, ready weathered and everything, just in case I just plonked it on the layout. The only thing I need to do with that is I need to build a sort of a small little bund wall that went around it. I'm not sure what size the wall would be, maybe it's about 4 foot or something like that. Not very big, but I need to make one of those, which I'll do in due course as well. I'll get that done at some point. The other things that was at West Blyth were these refueling diesel tanks. Now I've got the Nightwing set kicking about somewhere. I think it's under one of the benches, which I was going to use that one because I quite like the Nightwing one. Unfortunately, the whole setup was just too big to go in the space that I've got. For anybody who's not familiar with West Blyth, there was like the main gates was sort of down here, sort of thing. If you imagine the main gates to one side of the bridge that I was talking about earlier, and the road sort of came in and sort of curved around, and you had the car parking on this side here, and the roadway sort of went up there, and it went around the end of the building there, where you can see where I'm pointing, and there was like it was like a sort of like a concretey, gravelly type road that sort of crossed the lines as well to across to the front of the shed there, which I'll show you in a minute. So as I say, the Nightwing kit, it was where the ratio one is. I mean, the Nightwing one was going to be out about here somewhere, and it just wouldn't have looked right. It would have looked too big. So I thought, well, I'll buy the ratio set. I was just going to get the tanks, but it wasn't until I had a little bit search online that I realised if you bought the whole oil depot, you get the walkway that goes on top of the tanks there. That comes included with the oil depot set. So I thought, well, I may as well just spend the rest and get the walkway as well, because there was a walkway on the tanks at West Blyth, and I want to, even though I haven't got, you know, the ideal amount of space for to have it exact, I still want to try and get it as good as I can. The car there, that's Oxford diecast, that's on the Vauxhall Vivas. I've got a few Oxford cars knocking about, which I need to get out to sort of work out exactly how far the car park is going to come down this way. This track here, this is one of at West Blyth there was 3 wagon repair lines. Unfortunately, again, because of space constraints, I can only get away with 1. I would like to have had maybe 2 at the least, but it's not going to be, because it's going to interfere with other tracks that's going to be on here. But this track, as I say, this track is going to come down to round about here. Maybe it's a little bit longer. It'll probably end in line with this track. So it's still a good length. I get a good few wagons on there. The tracks were used for repairing the Alcan wagons, and I'm not sure if any other wagons got repaired there. There is pictures of West Blyth with tank wagons on, Alcan wagons. I think there's old grain wagons on that was used at Alcan as well for a time. So I've got a few of those as well. So that should look okay when it's done. Just trying to think what else there is. What else? Yeah, this office here that I've just been letting you have a look at, what I decided to do was to make the roof removable. And I've fitted some office furniture inside. I'll let you have a look there. I don't know how far I can zoom this in without it going out of focus. But the office furniture is Fala, which is it's HO scale. But I mean, it looks okay. I can get away with that, I think. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get some HO scale seated figures at some point and get them glued onto the seats. And I might, I don't know for sure, I might install some lighting in this office. I don't know. I'll have to see what happens with that. As I say, I've got enough to be getting on with, and I've spent loads of time busy building offices and stuff like that, and other things where I should have been doing other work on the layout. Right, just trying to think. I don't think I showed you the stabling lines for the Class 37s on the last video. I don't think I had these done. These is all in place now, and they're wired up to the DCC bus as well. These tracks here leading up into the shed, they're not wired up yet. They still need doing. The reason why I haven't done these is because I haven't put the supports, the wooden supports, under the baseboard yet, because I wasn't 100% sure where the point motors were going to go. So I've got a better idea now, so I could probably get those in place and get these tracks connected to the DCC bus. The storage lines there where the Class 37s are, what I intend to do with these is I've got some of those block signal and loco detectors, which I might put a couple of them under the tracks and wire those up and have them rigged up to some sort of a mimic diagram of like the depot area, showing the track work, so and showing which tracks is occupied by logos, and also as well having I've got a couple of points position indicators, which I'll have those wired up as well, so you can see which way the points has been thrown. Again, I've run out of point motors for this part of the depot. I need to get some more point motors, which I'm using the Pico PL10E, the ones with the extended pin. I need to get some more of those and get cracking again with the point motors. That's another job I hate doing, but it's got to be done. The brake van lines in, as you can see there. It needs extending a little bit more. It's just a little bit too short, but I haven't put the track, this is one piece of track here, so I just left that, but I haven't joined any more onto here because, as I say, I need to put another piece of plywood, take this piece out, so you can see it's not properly fixed there. I need to take this piece out, put another piece in, which will be like it'll be this sort of shape there, but it'll be like an L shape coming off here, and that'll go all the way down to the bottom there to build the states and the upper and lower reception siding areas, which I'll get that done. I've got the plywood in the shed, so I can sort of cut that anytime and get it on. The wood that I'm running short of a little bit is this stuff here, this PSE, the plain square edge timber. As you can see, I've used quite a bit of that on the layout up to now. I've got a couple of lengths down there. I think there's maybe 1.5 lengths there, but unfortunately I will need some more. I'm probably going to need another 2 lengths or something like that, which I'll get at some point. I just got it from across the road, a 5-minute walk from our house, across the Juicens, and next to Colliery Road. So I'll get that at some point. The stonework wood that I've used there for the legs, I've got plenty of that left in the shed. I think I've got 3 lengths of that, so there's more than enough there for to do any more legs that need making for the baseboard, so that shouldn't be a problem. The other building that I've been busy with, and literally it's took us months for to do this on and off, was the engine shed at West Blyth. I've tried to sort of get that as good as I could. The building that I used was the Pico, I think it was LK80 train shed kit. Took a lot of work for to modify that. The roof shape had to be changed and everything for to get it to sort of, to look anywhere close to the West Blyth one. But it's done there now. It's painted up and that. It needs, obviously it needs weather, and all the buildings do at the moment, and it needs the ground, you know, the ground sorted out, the ground scatters put on, weeds and bushes and you know, gravel and, you know, bits and pieces like that. The doors there that you can see at the bottom, I've left those open. Well, they're glued open, and what I'm going to do is I've got an arc welder flash unit thing, which I got from, I think it was Heathcote Electronics I got that from, and I'm going to have that in there, so it'll give out a simulated arc welding flash or MIG welding flash when the switch is flicked. So I still need to put that under the baseboard yet, but these is, you know, things that I can do later on as I get further on with the layout. But yeah, the shed was quite difficult to do. It took a long time. I was pleased to get that done. The roof, I had to buy quite a few packs of the, it was either Wills, I'm not sure if it was Wills or Ratio corrugated roof packs. I went through quite a few of those simply because of mistakes I was making. I couldn't get the joints right on the roof. So I just sort of had to do it as best I could and just leave it at the finish. The other things that I've done is I've added some of the decals on the front of the building there, which I think were at West Blyth. The limited clearance ones there that you can see there, I'm not sure if they were already on the building for like the time period that I'm modelling. I'm modelling the sort of 70s to early 80s time period, and I don't know. I know the yellow ones, the roof, the warning signs for the roof, they were there, but as I say, I'm not sure about the limited clearance ones. I've also stuck a drain pipe down the middle of there, which you can see, which was on the West Blyth one. I've got some of the, I'll let you have a look at those actually, where the bottom of the drain pipe is there should be like a little drain cover, which I've got some of the Wizard Models ones, which we'll just go back up here and I'll let you have a look at those, which are really quite good. That's them there, the drain covers. You get like assorted manhole covers and drain covers and that. You can just see the drain covers there. They're quite good. You can get two sets. There's an older style and there's a modern style. I've got the older style, which would be more appropriate for the time that I'm modelling anyway, the era that I'm modelling. That's the arc welding simulator that I was telling you about. As I say, I'm sure I got that from Heathcote Electronics. It's got the two LEDs on. One's a blue LED to simulate the arc flash, and the other one is it's timed to come on with the arc flash, and it glows red. It fades in and then fades out again. I think that's to simulate like glowing hot metal as it's been welded. So I'll get that put in at the in the shed at some point. Not really much to do at the back of the shed. As I say, obviously all the groundwork is still to do and prepare, and obviously sleepers to put back in after the joints has been made and what have you. Just trying to think of anything else. The yard lamp there, the floodlight, that's one of those Express Models ones. I think that was about 6 at West Blyth, but I'm not going to have that many on my layout. I might put another, possibly 2 on at the most, but I think probably just another 1 when I can eventually track one down. The shop itself, Express Models, I don't think's got any made for sale at the moment, and I was lucky enough to come by that one on eBay, and a couple of weeks later there was a guy selling I think 3, but I just wasn't able to get them at the time, so I'll just have to keep looking. The roof there on the I wanted some roof vents. They were the closest sort of roof vents that I could get, I think, to the ones that was at West Blyth, and they are I can't remember which make they were German ones, but I got them off eBay anyway. You get them in a pack. I think there was about 6 different shapes of roof vents, so I got those, and just put them on with a little bit of epoxy glue. The gantry at West Blyth was a little bit curious. During the time period that I was modelling, it just seemed to be like sort of on one side of the roof, as you can see there, and then there's like the other bit on the end where the chimney is, where the it's like a fire escape type thing goes down the side of the wall. with a ladder obviously to get access on and off the roof, but it was just like a one-sided thing, and I never really understood why it was like that. But I believe later on in time, once all the Class 37s had left and the 56s arrived, I think they did more work on the roof and they put sort of more walkways on. But I've just left mine anyway as it was for the time, for the time period that I'm modelling. So I don't think there's anything else I can show you other than these couple of things here. You've probably seen these on YouTube videos before. The Northwest Shortline Duplicate Cutter 2 and the Chopper 3. I bought these when I decided I was going to be making some buildings. I thought, well, I'll get these because I've never really had much luck at marking sheets of styrene with a pencil and a ruler and then drawing a straight line and being able to cut it straight. For some reason the blades always sort of wandered off, even if I've used a ruler. I've had all kinds of problems with things like that. I've wasted loads of styrene trying to cut it and making a mess of it. So I thought, well, I'll get these and it'll help with the buildings. And I have to say they've really been worth their weight in gold. For cutting the walls for buildings, the duplicate cutter is absolutely ideal. Once you just work out, you just slide this back and forward, for to adjust your gap here for whatever size you want for your walls, the height of your walls, or if you turn the styrene around the other way, the length of your walls. And once you've got it set, you can just make multiple cuts and you get exactly the same size every single time, which is what I used for that building there. I had already built this building. I hadn't long finished it before I got the duplicate cutter, but the top surface there, I used the duplicate cutter for that, and what a difference it made. Being able to get the walls exactly the same height all the way around. I was really pleased with that. And likewise with the chopper, if you're cutting strip styrene, I mean the white strip styrene that you can see there on the walls, the upright dividers and the window frames for the building, the Chopper 3 is ideal for making multiple cuts of them. You just set that to where you want it for your length, and you just operate the handle like, and you just cut multiple lengths off. It's really good. It'll be ideal for when I come to build the States, actually, because I'll be able to cut the balsa wood with that as well. All the timber, the woodwork for the supporting legs for the States and all the cross beams and everything, I'll be able to cut all that on the duplicate cutter. It just uses a normal razor blade. As I say, I'm sure you'll have seen these before. It just uses a normal single edge razor blade there, you can see it there. And I bought a pack, I think I've got a pack of 100 of them somewhere, which one blade lasts for absolutely ages anyway. So I'll be able to use that for the States. But I think that's pretty much all I can show you at the moment. As I say, I'm starting to get back into the layout now. The majority of work I think is done in the house. You can just see some of the wife's clutter here. There was hardly any of this up in the loft when I first started with it, but the wife's very kindly let me store it up here, which was nice of her. I'm grateful to her for that. So, but luckily it's not going to interfere with the layout. I mean, there's still loads of room under the Colliery area yet. If she's got any more stuff she needs to put in, I don't mind. I would rather it was up here safe in the house than maybe it's out in the shed where it could become damaged, or the shed could get broken into and stuff stolen. Or so I'm not too fussed about it being up here. But I think that's pretty much all I can show. One other thing that I wanted to show you, I don't know if I mentioned to you that I got a while ago. I bought one of the Knock Grassmasters. I'll just get down on my hands and knees again. Now, I had a go over this, and I sort of had, it was just on a piece of track. I mean, the track's not ballasted or nothing. I was just sort of keen to have a go of it, and I'm not 100% sure whether I like the results of it or not. I know the grass that I used, it was only it was 2mm grass flock that came with it. So I might try some longer grass with it. But I didn't think that the grass was sort of sticking up very much. It looks like it is in places, and then other times it looks quite flat, but that might be, I mean, that could be a combination of things. It could be the, as I say, the grass that I've used, it is only 2mm grass to start with, and possibly the battery that came with the Grassmaster might not have been fully charged, so I might try some longer grass and a new battery in. and see how that goes sometime in the future, because there's quite a bit of grass area for to go on the reception side and areas, so I'll need something for to do that. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all I can show you for now. As I get more work done, I'll get another video sorted out. But please feel free to comment and give us a thumbs up if you like the video, subscribe if you like, and I'll speak to you soon. Cheers, thanks a lot, bye.